Hi, I'm Krista Johnson. This is my horse Louie here. I just want to teach you some of the boundaries that I start teaching horses on the ground that also relates to your ride. So let's get started. I'm going to have this boundary with my belly button starting here. I'm going to turn and face. I want him to take steps back and a step over to where he's kind of parked in front of me. I want him approximately 4 feet between my belly button and chest. And Angela, if you want to try to get a view from over here, that way they can see that he's parked. So we've got the boundary between my belly button and his chest. There's going to be a boundary on his right, his left. There's going to be one behind his tail and also one above his poll. How I'm going to know that he hits the one behind his tail is when he puts pressure on the rope. It's his responsibility to keep that slack in the rope. I'm going to ask him to back out of my space a little bit. I'm going to send him out on a circle to his right. I'm going to pick up that front right, step it over. I want him to go out and around me. He kind of missed the 4/4 yield there, so I pushed him back out a little bit with a drift. So I've still got the boundary in front of my belly button. His nose should be behind it on the circle. The boundary behind his tail should be right in front of my shoulder if I had one stick out like this. His right boundary is going to be if he hits my bubble here. I want that 3-foot distance in this case between me and him. And then the boundary on the left is being held by the rope. If he takes the slack out, he's hitting that boundary on that side. If I speed up my feet, it's going to start to close this boundary behind his tail. He should come with me and speed up his feet as well. If I slow down my feet, that's going to start closing this boundary in front of his nose. He should slow down as well. If I really speed up my feet, he should come with me. If I slow down my feet, he should come with me. And notice how he's staying out of my circle. I'm just going to own this space on my circle. He's got his own circle out there that he's allowed to be on. And the reason why it's important for me to walk, I want to be right to where I would be if I was in the saddle. That's going to give me more of a rein angle that's going to relate more to our ride. So I'm going to change it up. I'm going to point my belly button towards his hip, pointing my rein hand towards his hip. To get him to yield the hindquarters around the front end, just like that. I'm going to slow my feet down, lift my rein, ask him to step over that front right, yield the front end, and I'm going to have him go forward out on a circle to the left. And it's going to be the same boundaries. He's getting into my circle here. I'm just going to own my space. Notice how he doesn't get offended by that when he gets tagged. He just understands what that means. He doesn't get emotional about it. He doesn't need to. It's not mean. It's just a boundary. I'm not being angry, mean, or mad. I'm just saying, hey, this is my space here. You have your space out there. When I'm in neutral, I'm just going to have my rein hand kind of down here at my hip, or I could have it at my belt buckle. So again, if I speed my feet up, that's going to bring that boundary behind his tail up quicker that he needs to not run into. If I speed up my feet more, he needs to speed up his more, but not get ahead of my belly button. If I slow that down, he should slow down. That also will automatically start to angle the rein to where he'll yield his hindquarters out and slow down just as he did there. That was very nice. This is just a very basic way to explain the boundaries on the ground that I start teaching horses. The 5th one that I mentioned above the pole is just if you get some horses that get really high-headed in the escape kind of mindset that we don't want them to be in. I'll just remind them to not be up there. He doesn't have that problem right now at the moment, so it's hard to show that one, but I'll rub him with the stick just to make sure he's not scared of it. He's not. He's done all this before. But how this relates to your ride is when I'm teaching a horse to ride, whether they've got riding experience or not already, I want my goal of being able to guide the horse by getting them to stay between my legs and my reins. So if I'm riding two-handed, I'm going to turn my eyes, shoulders, and belly button where I want to go. That automatically changes the angles of my legs to signal to the horse where to go. If they start bumping into the boundaries, they need to learn to yield and find that space between my reins and legs where they find peace, where they're not bumping into either my rein or my leg. So I'm teaching the same thing on the ground. My legs and my reins are going to be the left and right boundaries for them. And then the front boundary that's either in front of the chest or the nose is going to be either the bit or the halter, the bosal, whatever you're riding in, to impede forward movement if needed. And then the back one behind the tail to move forward is usually going to be implied by my seat. If I need to spank them to get them to understand what my seat means to go forward, I will. But that's just a really basic breakdown of the boundaries that I use to start communicating.